video games. Let's see. This one's called, I don't know, this is some shit I clicked on earlier. Why isn't The Sims fun anymore? Just fucking watch it.
So once a year, you dust off the EA app
watch it.
and boot up The Sims 4. You make a sim, put them in. So once a year,
Oh,
you dust off the EA app and boot up The Sims 4. You make a sim, put them in the Daisy hovel like you always do,
Yep.
and play the game for a few hours before thinking, wait a minute, this is kind of boring. So
Yeah.
then you download one of the new expansion packs, hoping to find something fun to do. You
Yeah.
jump into a new world, pick a lot,
Yeah.
start playing for a little, and then a few hours later you realize,
This
this
game's
is
fucking
kind
boring.
of boring too. What's going on here? Have you simply had enough of The Sims for one lifetime?
I mean, so when I was younger, The Sims was fun. I liked The Sims growing up. I played The Sims a little bit when not like, I guess like last year. Played it for like a couple months, like just off stream casually. And I thought it was alright. I didn't really like it too much. It was on Game Pass, that's why I played it. It was for basically free, but I don't know. I don't think it was like, it wasn't exciting or nothing. I mean, it was like what I remembered it was like.
Or has EA altered the gameplay formula of this series in such a way that makes this once great game a boring slog? Here's a hint. It's all EA's fault. What once was a novel concept with an intriguing gameplay loop has now
think
morphed
Sims 2
into
was a
a
mess.
many-headed monster with no purpose. Despite years of development, beautiful graphics, and over $1,000 of DLC available, The Sims 4 seems far more
not worth it.
soulless and empty than the same game made over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
To figure out the answer to why this game doesn't work, let's go back to the start and see how this series abandoned
I mean,
its core.
God damn my ear. The fact that EA made it is probably the reason why it sucks. EA just, they're fucking money hungry bastards.
Gameplay loop in exchange for a heap of unwanted features that actually make it less fun to play. So let's go
Yeah,
back to the
I
first
guess.
Sims game. No further back than that. Even further. I don't even know what that is. There we go. The
Yeah.
Sims 1.
Oh,
so
Sims
here's
1.
a question.
So that's the one I grew up on right there. My mom had it on the computer, and I was like, the first computer game I ever played actually was Sims 1, yeah.
For all you longtime simmers such as myself, what is the goal of this game? When The Sims was unleashed upon the
thought it
world
was
in
fun.
2000, it marked a significant departure
Such a good
from the
game.
popular games of the time.
Yeah, that's
There
one thing. Building your own house. I realized in the other one you can't really. I mean, I guess you could build your own house, but it's too much work. I don't know. It doesn't feel like. I don't know. It
There was
just feels
no
different.
violence or gore, there was no intriguing story, and most importantly, there was really no goal. The game defined itself as a digital dollhouse, where, like any child playing with a real dollhouse, you were in control of the stories you wanted to tell. Now,
was
the
fun.
core gameplay loop was pretty simple. You created a sim, put them in a house, and then drowned them in a pool.
Or burn them alive at the fireplace.
Once you got that out of your system, you made a
Yep.
new sim and had them embark on pursuing the American dream. While
Yep.
there was no set goal, money fueled everything in The Sims.
man.
And unless you were a cheating
Nostalgia
fucker who used
alert,
Rosebud, if
nostalgia
you
alert.
wanted your sim to reach the zenith of what they could
The
be,
crazy
you had to
carpets.
make money. So this quirky Americana unfolded, where these strange little people started to go to work, form relationships,
The
and
gnomes would
work
come
their way
alive.
up the peaceful, easy ladder of success that was present in 2000's America. This was
Yeah,
a world without
2000's
crushing
America was
college
great.
debt, jobs that don't pay enough, and all the social stresses of living day to day in a dystopian corporate state. Anyway, in The Sims 1, the core
love
goal
that.
of most
Trump did
players
that.
was to raise their Sims abilities, succeed in a job, make friends, get married, and live in a mansion. However, there were a lot of things that could go
Oh,
wrong
yeah, the
on
fires
this
were so
path to
intense.
perfection, and these
I remember that
hilarious
shit.
roadblocks
So
actually
insane.
made the gameplay loop highly enjoyable. Managing the needs of Sims in The Sims 1 was this never-ending exercise in spinning a bunch of different plates and hoping that none of them would fall and shatter. The needs of
Pretty
Sims in The Sims 1 decreased insanely quickly when compared to their modern counterparts. Sims passing out from exhaustion or
Yeah,
pissing
they
themselves
did.
was a common occurrence in this game, and it
Yeah.
was very difficult to make your Sims anything but depressed losers
Cheats. That's what I did. I just used cheats.
who questioned their very existence.
Wait a minute.
Why is the camera on me for this part? If you were able to begin to master balancing these needs, you also had to contend with random events. Fires could burn down your furniture, burglars could steal your best items, or you could get electrocuted while trying to fix your TV. Even if you managed to balance your Sims needs and avoid death, you had to maintain a multitude of social relationships in order to advance your career. I don't know why you need 8 friends to become a crime boss, but I do know that Sims in your neighborhood had more mood swings than a teenage girl, and keeping them happy was not an easy task. All of this is to say that the game threw a significant number of obstacles in your way, and many of them were outside of your control. The plans you laid were easily disturbed, often in hilarious ways. While it could be really frustrating to balance all your Sims needs and avoid disaster, this challenge is what ended up making the game fun. While there are more ways to die than ever in newer Sims games, there's really not a lot standing in your way. Avoiding death while becoming independently wealthy and popular is actually quite easy. In The Sims 3, you could buy a bunch of lots in commercial venues and make revenue from them by doing nothing. In The Sims 4, you can form clubs to easily get social relationships maxed out, or become a landlord and live off the sweat, blood, and tears of other Sims. Hey, I guess this game is kind of like life in 2024. My point is, the easier you make it to achieve wealth and prestige, the less interesting the game becomes. When you play The Sims 4, your success is kind of a foregone conclusion. The game lays out so many options and paths that are all equally viable that no matter what you choose to do, you'll end up making a sim that will become cool and prosperous every single time. Also, The Sims used to be pretty simple. I mean, the core idea is a digital dollhouse, right? With that in mind, let's see what you can do with some of the DLC in The Sims 4. With Mommy's credit card, you can unlock the ability to turn your Sims into vampires, turn your Sims into mermaids, turn your Sims into aliens, form clubs, own a horse ranch, have cats and dogs, go to high school, go to college, snowboard, and do stereotypical Asian things, become famous, and live on an island. Some of that may sound Asian great, things. But it kind of detracts from the core gameplay and doesn't really add anything substantial to the gameplay loop. The way you play the
I haven't played. I mean, when I played recently. I thought the game was pretty fun for the most part. I thought it was pretty decent. I didn't think. I mean, it did get boring after a while. After like you're to like the second generation of the family. Like after like the husband and wife dies, and you have the kids there, and then like it gets weird. But I don't know. I thought it was. I didn't like the fact that my Sims aged and died. I don't know. It's like, just let them live forever, because like you can't really do much.
The game is still completely the same, and when you buy a bunch of DLC, you actually have less fun because you are bombarded with all these features. You ever look at all the things you can do on your Sims phone in The Sims 4? There's so much crap on here that most of the player base probably doesn't do anything with it. EA seems to think that the more shit they add on this broken foundation, the more fun it will be. But with a core gameplay loop that is ridiculously easy and uninteresting, that just isn't true. It'll always be boring if it isn't built on a dynamic and challenging gameplay loop. Like, have you ever gone to a fancy restaurant and it has all this shit you've never heard of? You got fish eggs, sheep eye, fruit bat soup, and kazoo marzu, but all you really need is a good cheeseburger to be happy. Sure, you could have all that other stuff, but if it all gives you violent diarrhea, why not just go with a cheeseburger? That's what The Sims 1 and most of its subsequent expansions were. It was just a good cheeseburger. Hey,
they had like vacation. Remember they had Sims vacation mode, and then like you take them on vacation and stuff like that. They had all kinds of different Sims modes. I thought they were
Magic.
cool.
I said most expansions. I don't want that Harry Potter bullshit. The Sims 1 and The Sims 2 to a large extent were both simple, but they were highly engaging. The core gameplay loop of experiencing stories with your Sims had enough options to entice you, but also enough roadblocks to force you to think creatively. Uh-oh, your Sim got robbed, and they only have 75 simoleons left. Do you order pizza so they can survive until dawn, or do you get a toilet so they won't piss themselves before work, or do you just throw them in the pool and start over? All the options are yours. Video games are really all about getting from point A to point B, with various roadblocks being thrown in your way. When you have a goal in mind, a good game presents you with obstacles you have to overcome overcome through your ingenuity and intelligence. Mario's woman got kidnapped. He has to go to the castle, but there are turtles and Goombas and all this shit in the way. It's gameplay 101. The Sims has added so much to the formula that I think they've forgotten what made it fun in the first place. Having challenges that were entertaining and difficult to overcome made the game worth playing, and by forcing the player to adapt to these challenges, they were more likely to play the game for longer to master the mechanics. It's kind of ironic when you think about the origins of The Sims. Will Wright, the creator of The Sims, was inspired to make this game after losing his home and most of his material possessions in a fire. When he embarked on the journey of rebuilding his life, he realized a game where the player manages a suburban household might just be fun. The key part of that story is that beauty blossomed from tragedy. When you have complete and total control over the lives of your Sims, there aren't any significant roadblocks that can slow you down, it's just boring. Everything is predictable, and setbacks are minor. Hey, has anyone watching this
ever played
that's RimWorld?
I guess that's true. Yeah, no, when I played Sims 4, like nothing really happened. Really, like nothing crazy happened, like fires or nothing like that. Like, yeah, that's actually kind of crazy to think about.
RimWorld is kind of like The Sims if it involved heinous war crimes. The graphics may look simple, but in this game, everything is out to kill you, and no matter how sophisticated your colony of little people is, there's always danger lurking in the world that can utterly annihilate everything you have built. This can be insanely frustrating at times, but it also makes the game fun. The goals and stories that you are working on experience exciting.
SimCity was the shit too. I actually like SimCities, but Cities Skylines, I've played that too, and that's pretty fun.
Twists that you couldn't foresee. You're constantly on your toes, and every moment is engaging. In The Sims 4, you can amass a huge amount of wealth and influence easily. Then you have a Sim sitting in a big mansion with everything under their complete control. While earlier iterations of The Sims have been more difficult, the series has always suffered during the end game. Once you're rich and powerful, you have to make up your own challenges, and most players find that the game becomes stagnant. I think that in an attempt to please everyone, EA has eroded the foundations of what made this game special in the first place. I think ultimately The Sims isn't fun anymore because the experience carefully guides you down a set path where success is easy to attain. So how does EA fix this? Well, since all they care about is money, and World of Warcraft just released a hardcore mode and made a bunch of money, EA should follow suit and make The Sims 4 Hardcore Mode DLC. For just $19.99, you can transform your bland, easy Sims experience into something that is challenging and interesting. Some of the features of this pack include more ways than ever to lose your money. Have your Sims invest in crypto and lose their house because Dogecoin didn't take off, or have their job pull an Enron.
That's so funny. I remember my friends thought Dogecoin was the next coin. Like, man, I think I lost like $10. I didn't invest much.
And everyone gets laid off randomly. Disasters galore! Right when you get a big promotion, watch as everything in your house suddenly starts to break. You wanted to use that money for a new PC? Fuck you, it's time for a new water heater. End-game content. So you've climbed to the top of your career and have a huge mansion? But guess what? Your Sim just made sexual advances on a new young intern at work, and now you have to settle a lawsuit. Enjoy losing everything because you couldn't keep it in your pants. In all seriousness, I think The Sims needs to look at what inspired it in the first place and realize that difficulty is not a bad
this is
thing.
EA we're talking about. They're not gonna do that at all. They're gonna keep selling you expansions that cost you money.
Taking away some freedom from the player and making the world of The Sims a bit more volatile, the stories that are told in this game and the core gameplay loop will become way better.
Hey, before I go, if you liked the video, go ahead and give me a like, and if you're not subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. That's really the only way that YouTube will promote my videos, so I would really appreciate it. If you're a longtime player of The Sims and you're kind of frustrated with the direction of the
subscribe. That's cool. I'm not a huge Sims fan, but yeah, that was a good video.